Welcome to Talking Sibos. Each day we've been bringing you news and views from people on the exhibition floor, a tradition we continue right now. Indeed, Dereza has been down at the Standards Forum, which has been running a program throughout the conference to facilitate discussion and collaboration around best practices. And she's found the man in charge, Andrew Muir, head of standards operations at Swift.
Well, welcome, Andrew Muir. It's great to be here on the Standards Forum stand.
Thanks very much, Nadine. It's a great pleasure to be here, and welcome to Sibos.
So what's some of the activities that people are actually getting involved with?
We've had 3 days so far, and each of the 2 days has had a theme. Today's theme was transformation, the role of standards in innovation and disruption. We had some great fun this morning, having our minds opened to new ways of thinking, and we've been getting progressively more tangible with our content this afternoon to a session that's just finished on how to make market practices work.
Now, earlier on, I walked past people playing the kazoo. Is this for fun, or is there a serious purpose to it?
Well, of course it was fun. It's always fun. I've had an ambition for 3 years now to have people sing at Sibos, and this is what we achieved this morning. But of course, standards is all about harmony. We're running a global program of standards harmonization to get people using standards in exactly the same way. And this was really just a nice musical way of making that point and setting today's activities into that context.
How do you break down barriers and get people to collaborate?
The great thing about the standards community is that they don't really do barriers. They love working together. At the Payments Market Practice Group on Saturday, on a glorious day in Geneva, they spent 6 hours indoors collaborating as experts on the best way to do new kinds of standards application. We are enthusiasts, actually.
And what sort of people are more up for getting involved? Have you been able to dissect that data?
I don't want to offend anyone by leaving them out, but honestly, most nations are involved in the standards process, and we can normally find the people in every country who are happy to help. But I've got to say, the Americans, the Scandinavians, these are people that are naturally predisposed to collaboration, and without wishing to offend anybody, I love them.
How are people actually responding to ISO 20022? Are people seeing it as a barrier or maybe as an opportunity?
It's very much an enabler. ISO 20022 is now being used by nearly 200 separate initiatives around the world. The market infrastructures and the industry groups who are using it regard it absolutely as a way of making sure that when the world interoperates better, they're doing so around standard data definitions. And there is nothing more exciting for us than that.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure having you on Sibos TV.
My great pleasure, Nadine. Thank you.
And never a quiet moment down on the exhibition floor. More from Nadine a little bit later in this program. But it's time now for that all-important update on the Swift game. So let's see how that leaderboard is looking.
It was terrifying. The pressure was immense. Yeah, I crumbled under pressure.
Tough. It's not as easy as it looks. It's actually really very difficult.
It was wonderful. I won a cow.
Really good. It's really enjoyable and easy.
It's bad.
I will cry. Because my clothes are collapsed. I couldn't be the first, yeah?
Can you tell my kids I came top? Can you like?
I think it was around 540, so I think I'm like 118th on the leaderboard.
I think less than 300. Not very good. Oh, that was worse than last time.
312.
It's a disaster.
I scored 876.
I'm quite happy with that.
You know, It looks like such an easy game, and I had a chance to try it. My score's about just under 900, so see if you can give it a crack and beat me. I'm up on the leaderboard as well, but evidence that I've been there and done it. You get to take away one of these lovely cows with a bell on it too, so make your way down to the Swift stand for a go at that. Time for us now to catch up on the Art at Sibos project. This time we'll meet up with the artists involved.
I'm Guillaume Ozon, I'm an artist, painter, and I'm working for Anouk Foundation. Now it's day 2, we are progressing very well, as you can see. We are enjoying a lot to be here, and it goes well. I'm painting the financial mural, so it's quite a difficult subject for me as a painter, but I enjoy it and it's funny. We work in hospital, in nursing home for old people, for children, for all kinds of medical in all Europe. We have to finish this huge mural, but it will be okay. We are working well, and we have good encouragement from people.
And I make an effort to walk by every day just to see how it's coming along. Every day you see a bit more of that coming to life, so do check it out if you have the chance. Well, back on the exhibition floor, Nadine spoke to some delegates to find out what they've been learning at the Standards Forum.
I'm delighted I'm joined by Chia Larsen from the Danish Bankers Association. Welcome, Chia.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the show. So how many times have you been to Sibos?
I have been to Sibos 5 times the past 11 years.
And what keeps you coming back?
My work, primarily. So I work with standardization, and I also work for Swift Denmark, the Danish user group. And I'm here to pick up whatever I can for them to bring back for those who are not here.
But are we calling it hard work? It's a lovely gig to have, isn't it? Plenty of networking.
It is, and that's a very vital thing, the networking, getting to know people and, having somebody you can go back to at a later stage in time and say, you talked about this, can you maybe come to the group and tell them something or tell me this or that? So it's very important.
And what's been the most fun session in your assessment?
I think the fun session for me was this morning. We had this session in the standardization group, which were supposed to be a session for but you could talk to the people sitting there, but we were only 6 of us, so it's very intimate and very interesting, actually.
And how about the most useful?
I would say that would be actually a session I went to during lunch. I was invited to a very fancy lunch at the Starling Hotel.
So the lunch was useful?
The lunch was useful because it was a lot of guys, or 3 guys, talking about disruption, talking about APIs and how do we cope with that in the future amongst the banks.
And how do you cope with it?
Well, one of the things that came out of it was that we shouldn't call it disruption anymore because it's been here for quite a while now, so we should just accept it's here and then work with it. And the API was more a debate around do we really need APIs in all factors of the banking solutions? And I think the answer was no, we don't.
So I'm now joined by Bill Gawley from the IDEA Group. Based in the UK, are you?
Yes, based in London, yeah.
Well, lovely to have you here. So do you feel you've got a grip on what ISO 20022 is all about?
Yeah, I think ISO 20022 is a very important standard for all of us in the industry. Our background and most of our activity is in the fund space. So for us, it's a relatively familiar standard that we've started to use for a number of years. And we do a lot of enablement of firms to get onto that standard to be able to use it across the Swift network. So it's certainly nothing new for us, but the way it's being used and the way it's being developed is really important. And in particular now, where we've got a message maintenance happening going into next year, and the ability to now use those same messages for hedge fund, alternative fund transactions is really, really important. So I think this year, of all years, there are some really significant changes around the way that standard's being used, and for us I think it's a massively important thing to be communicating to the industry.
Any challenges around the standard?
I think there's always a challenge because you've got existing standards that people are used to. So the 15022 standard has been used and loved for many years, and like anything comfortable, it's hard to get rid of. And so, in a way, the 20022 standard has to earn its right to replace the 15022 standards, because you're not going to replace something unless there's clear business benefit in having a change. I think the advantages are certainly becoming clearer about the benefits that the new standard does have, particularly with the broader capabilities and ways of using it. However, the challenge is, as I say, a lot of firms are using it, a lot of firms have made that investment and are very comfortable with the way it's being used. So it is incumbent on all of us in the industry who offer those standards or ways of connecting to those standards to show what the benefits are and why you'd want to make that change.
And any opportunities that you particularly want to highlight?
Well, for us, again, as a provider of services, provider of connectivity, and also we actually help to write some of those messaging standards, it's a fantastic opportunity. In some ways, we've done a lot of the work already, and so what we're trying to do now is make people more aware of where we've got to and where that work has come to, and now how you can use it. So I think the opportunity is very much incumbent on us to go out there and spread the message of why this standard is now such a fantastic tool for business processes. So yeah, plenty of opportunities, and we just have to make the most of making that wider known across the industry.
Now, I want an honest assessment. Do you feel that you're ahead of the game or playing catch up with standards? Okay,
well, so I think we have to say we're ahead of the game, because we were the organisation that actually worked with the industry to help develop the 2022 standards to be used for alternative fund messages. So we've been quietly working away for 2 years with a lot of the industry administrators, helping to find ways of getting ISO 2022 messaging used for hedge fund transactions. It was something that was looked at a number of years ago. Didn't quite work for a number of reasons, not notably the global financial crisis, which meant people had bigger things on their agendas. But now, again, communicating what we've done, we're certainly ahead of the game because we've done that piece of work. But if we don't make people aware of it and we get people to use it, then it's been time wasted. So we need to spend a lot of time communicating and, again, showing the benefit of using that standard.
So there's a communication piece.
Absolutely.
If I can say the word.
It's a good news story. It's a really good news story. But like everything, you have to make the case. So what is the case of getting rid of the comfortable sofa you had for the new one? The new one does lots of new things, and now we need to express it in a way that the financial officers are going to agree with and say, yes, it's worth the investment, let's make that change and adopt 2022 for more of our business practices.
Bill, an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, lovely to meet you.
I'm delighted to say I'm with Jetta Simpson from the EBA Group. I know you're based in Paris. Lovely to have you here, Jetta.
Thank you.
So we're talking everything ISO and 20022. Do you feel you've got a grip on the standard?
I think we have that. We've been doing 20022 for quite a number of years now, being in the SEPA business. So, and with all the migration, so to say, already done, we are now looking at also migrating our high-value payment system, the Euro 1 system. So, with all our expertise in the company and in the market, and being part of also what's happening within SWIFT and the developments and of guidelines for the migration, I would say yes, we do have a grip of what it's all about. Yeah.
And what do you identify as the challenges behind ISO 20022?
It's probably to agree on how to use it, because it's a very big standard. You can do anything with it. So to try to put it into a structure and sometimes also limitations to make it manageable, I think that is probably a challenge. Yeah.
And how about the opportunities? What do you see as some of the key opportunities?
The key opportunities is probably from a user's point of view, having been used to the old Fin standard being fairly limited, going into now a standard that is much more diverse and have many more opportunities, is that what more would they like to do with it?
Now,
how to use it.
Indeed, and an honest assessment now. Are you playing catch up, or do you think you're ahead of the game when it comes to the standard for the ISO 20022?
Well, I would say we're ahead of it. I mean, having been doing it for so many years and being around the discussions, being part of developing the standards and guidelines for how to use it, I would say we're ahead of it, yeah?
Well, it's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You caught us there using a bit of our cheat sheet to help us figure out what's going on with ISO 20022. You can pick up one of these copies. It's a Dummy's Guide to ISO 20022 from the Standards Forum stand. It will help you sound intelligent when you go about meeting with everyone else. Well, Nadine and I myself, that is correct, we'll be back with the big issue debate just before 11:30. We'll see you then, but right now, do stay with Sibos TV for the ultimate corporate wish list from securities. That's in room 2 and also right here on Sibos TV. We're back with you in a short while.